Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we approach the 10th anniversary of 9/11, I appreciate an opportunity to recognize those lost in the attacks. I think about our heroic emergency responders, the families of those who lost loved ones, and those themselves that never returned on that tragic day. I was a 9/11 first responder, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the despair, the feeling that it wasn't actually happening. It was surreal. I didn't believe it. But most of all, there was an indescribable look in the eyes of those that were walking away from the pile. And I can tell you without any uncertain terms that during this time and for the weeks that followed throughout the rescue and recovery, the vast majority of us turned to prayer. And for many of us, it was prayer that got us through dealing with the wreckage and the carnage and the reality that it was not a movie set, it was not surreal, it was in fact an attack on America. It was in fact a beautiful day where ordinary Americans, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, went to work one day and never came home. And it was during this rescue and recovery that a perfectly intact crossbeam was found among the wreckage. And that crossbeam was believed to have been from Tower 1. And the cross was lifted out of the pile and was put on display. It became much more than a crossbeam, but rather a symbol of hope and a symbol of comfort for all of those on the pile and for all of those watching in despair, wondering if they would ever see their loved ones again. There's a lot to be said about 9/11, and it's very visceral, very personal for everyone that was touched by it. But I can tell you that if there was one common thread, one common bond, it was the prayer, the symbol of hope, the feeling that we all came together. And this cross is part of that. This crossbeam, this steel taken from Trade Center 1, was a part of the story and the journey that all of those involved went through. And now that crossbeam has been placed in the museum to be memorialized as an artifact to remember everything that happened. But it's under attack by atheist groups that simply want their moment, their spotlight in the news. And that's why I put forth legislation to make it a national monument. This crossbeam, the steel itself, represents solace at a time of one of the darkest moments in our history. It should be preserved. It is a part of that history. It is a part of the comfort that we sought. And for that purpose, I am very hopeful that my legislation will secure this crossbeam's place at the museum so that we can all remember our nation's strength and resilience in the aftermath of this attack, and we can move forward as a stronger and better America. God bless you, and God bless America. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now